What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday night, not Thursday night for the, what are we going to call it? It is the delayed Dock Talk. Buckle up, grab yourself something cold to drink, and kick your feet up because we're about to go live. Well, we are live. See, it's been too long. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to intro your show. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm going to get it. How are we doing, gentlemen? Welcome back, previous offenders, to the Dock Talk show here on the Jackson Kayak networks of stuff.
Yeah, the cable affiliation of all things great. Jackson Kayak, Ryan Coolers.
Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight. Starting over here on, well, he's on my right, but he's probably on the left. But Michael Blatt, intro. Tell us about yourself.
Again. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little tired. I just finished 10 days in a row of ice fishing trips up here in Vermont and New Hampshire. Mike Blatt, TBC Guides, and we're normally kayak fishing when there's no ice, but I mean, we have 14 to 6 inches of ice in most of the places I'm fishing right now, and there's a foot of snow on my table outside, and Phil saw his shadow in seconds, so I'm pretty sure we have, what's today? So yeah, we got at least 2 or 3 more weeks of this. It's just fantastic, and new member of Orion team, which is really cool. I can't wait to get back into my Jackson Kayak to be one of those active Jackson Kayak team members once again, once this ice thaws.
Is that official? Are you officially saying it right here on Dock Talk? You are ready for the ice to be over?
No. When?
Man,
when
I thought I had you.
No. I mean, we'll talk about fish size later. The fish just keeps getting bigger in my head. It's been a great year.
You guys have had some good fish, I will say. Mr. Jason Cassetty, welcome back to the Jackson Orion Podcast Network.
What's up, Chad? What's up, Matt? Sorry, Rip, to your weather up there, brother. Even though it sounds good to you, to everyone else, it sounds terrible. I couldn't imagine a foot of snow right now. I'm in Guntersville, Alabama. It's gorgeous. We're here at the state park, getting ready for a really big tournament this weekend. And the snow is the last thing that we have on our mind down here in sunny Alabama.
235 registered
235. 235
today.
Probably one of the biggest non-championship kayak tournaments out there, and kudos Steve Owens over there at Bassmaster. Obviously that change has done good. Steve's a great dude. Got to meet up with him at Chickamauga, shoot the breeze a little bit. Big things for BASS this year. Hopefully y'all can come out and check it out. It's a pretty good deal.
Yes, sir. Gonna be a big time. Gonna be interesting to see who wins. We've got some Elite Series pros in the house for the Bassmaster Kayak event. It's gonna be a good one. Got a lot of big names on a big place. Do you feel like it's gonna be crowded any at all? With that many people?
Yeah, and the new dynamic this year is with the designated launch sites, right? And Guntersville is 75 miles long. I mean, it's a huge body of water, 70,000 acres. So you've got a lot of access areas you can fish. But when you break it down to 25 different launch ramps and you got 235 people, the days of launching with you and a buddy probably gone. And I mean, camaraderie is going to come in real quick at 6 a.m. at the boat ramp, with you and 20 or 30 of your homies. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to really show out with, some strategies. Where you're going to go first, because that little sweet spot that was close to the ramp that, might have been number 2 or number 3, and you want to hit that little spot and work your way back. You can't do that anymore because you might have to protect home base. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I like the designated launches personally. I like, bumping elbows with everybody first thing in the morning. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, it should be pretty fun, man.
Jason, what is the thing that you constantly forget at a quick launch, back in your truck, back trailer? Like, what's that one thing that you get out on the water and you're like, damn it, or you're just stepping on and you got to pull your boat to the side and go back and get it?
360 light. Every time, 60
100%.
light.
Yeah, 100%.
I hate that light. I mean, no offense, Yak Attack. I love your product. I'm running a new one this year. I'm running the YOLO Tech. It's got the 360 light and it's got the Tacticam attached to it. I've got a juice bank and a Tacticam behind me recording me. I don't know how this is even going to work, but it should look pretty cool. But the 360 light is definitely my biggest pain in the butt. I always forget that thing. Always.
If I'm local, sorry.
Hey,
just saying.
Hey, forget about
I'm at home. If I'm at home, I got 4 lights on. I got lights on my kayak. I'm going anyway. Forget it.
I did have a couple days. I had a couple days last year when I started pedaling out on my NAR, and I'm, I like to pedal to my spots before I use my trolling motor. And then I go to reach for the remote for my trolling motor. And I'm like, oh my God. Luckily, it's a 700-acre lake. So, I don't get that far. But I'm just, got to go back to the truck. Got to get the remote for the trolling motor. Because, they still haven't gotten stock on the iPilot link to connect to my head unit for my Humminbird to connect the Minn Kota. So I love you, Minn Kota. Nothing against you, but please send me this accessory so I can use it. I can control it from my screen, and I don't need the remote.
Now, for me, I'm going to be real honest, especially anybody that's frequented this show before knows all about protein Pop-Tarts and everything else that we've talked about on this show.
You did it, Chad. No offense, Matt. He just broke the ice. You know what I'm saying?
I forget the snacks. Snacks, sunglasses. 9 times out of 10. Those are mine. Snacks and sunglasses. I'll go back and get the sunglasses, but I never get the snacks.
Yeah. Nicole, my new fiance, she never, ever lets me forget the snacks, the waters. That's the first thing that goes on the boat before tackle bags, rods, fish finders, anything. It's food. She makes sure.
And that's why he got rid of the old fiance.
Yeah.
My new fiance. What happened to the old one?
Right.
Man,
Now, I will say this. I'm going to hire me an intern to follow me around and hold on to my camera and my snacks. So anybody looking for a job, hit me up. I got a position for you. Yeah, you work for Chad Media. So kayak season's here. Michael, you've been running around ice fishing like mad all winter long. You've had a heck of a season, man. You've put some people on some trophy fish, and you have caught some big fish yourself.
I don't know if I can call him an intern. I do have to give a shout out to the guy who rebuilt my website. He was a freshman at Dartmouth College last year. He's a sophomore this year. I don't know what this kid did to my website and my Google ranking, but every time I step on the ice, maybe an hour goes by before I get an email or a phone call. Somebody else found me on the internet and wants to go learn how to ice fish. Mm-hmm. And it's been incredible. I think I've done over 30 trips this year with different families, couples, just groups of kids. Last week finished a week long. So up here we have February break. So President's Day week, these kids are out of school for a solid week. Now I grew up that way in New Orleans. Mardi Gras week every year we're off for a week, and I hadn't really seen that until I got up to the Northeast. So as a parent, I know there's a lot of things that your kid's home for a week. You know, what do you do with your child? And there's only so many things to do. So what I did is I took the ice fishing guided experience that can sometimes, you know, price people out. You know, if you're a family, you want to learn how to ice fish or do something like this, you know, throwing a few $100 down is not, it's not for everybody. So what I did is I broke it down kind of per kid. You know, it was like a certain price per kid per day, 3 to 5 days they could do the camp. And one day I had 8 kids on the ice learning how to ice fish. Wow. And we started out on a little pond, did some yellow perch, some bluegill, got a couple bass. Then we went to pike. Then we went to the big lake and went for pike and smallmouth. And these kids over the course of 2 or 3 days, 5 days, learned a lot how to do it all on their own. And the big trophy fish this year was on Saturday afternoon. A lot of ice fishermen I know, they pack up at noon. They pack up at 1. They're done. They think the ice doesn't, the fish don't bite on the ice afternoon until you wait for sundown. But for some reason that day, we had 2 almost 10-pound, 40-inch northern pike on this lake bite. 2 of them in the span of 2 hours. And I love catching pike, open water. It's a lot of fun, but it's hard. It's a grind. This lake, the water is so clear. One of the only times you can pick off these fish at this size is under the ice in the dark with live bait on a hook, on a string, you know, and you're reeling these things in by hand. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever ice fished, but you know, when you set up your line, it's when you grab that fish, your line in your hand, you are rarely using a fishing rod to reel in these fish. Right. And I've got some new skin on 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. That's what 12 days on the ice will do to you. And it was about -4 last Saturday. I know, Jason, that's a little much for you to hear right now. But that's where the shelter comes into place. But yes, Chad, long answer to your short question. It has been an amazing season. It's been an amazing season for my business. And this time last year, I think I was trying to outfit my Jackson Kayak piece by piece to be ready to get into what I thought was going to be my busy season. But honestly, the winter has been busier than my summer right now. It's been great.
Now, talking about preparing for the season, we've already brought up the traditional protein Pop-Tarts on Dock Talk. Jason, I know you are a fitness guru of sorts. You work with Planet Fitness in your local area and inhabit the gym from north to south across the Midwest. So what are you guys doing to prepare? I know, Michael, for you, you're hustling. You're out there. You're running to tip up. Jason, you're out there. I mean, you had a short break here during the off season, but you stayed going, and now you're out there pedaling every single day in your Jackson Big Rig trying to get ready to go. So what's some tips and tricks for the preparation side that you guys are doing to keep yourself ready?
Well, for me, it's just simply trying to keep active. Now, from a physical standpoint, going to Planet Fitness whenever I get the opportunity, when we're on the road, or definitely every day when we're back in Indiana. Just staying physically moving, physically fit when you're pedaling or paddling a kayak for 8, 9, or like today, almost 12 hours. You have to you have to be in some sort of shape, or you're going to be in a lot of pain. We were talking before the show came on. One thing I didn't really take into account is that casting motion over and over and over again. When I got down to Chickamauga last week, uh, that right shoulder, boy. I mean, a half-ounce spinnerbait doesn't sound like much, but when you throw it for 10 hours, it's like, oh my gosh. You know, there's no Smith machine for that. You know, there's nothing that will help that. But I mean, just through last week and the past couple of days here at Gunnersville, I mean, that's kind of already worked itself out. And the 6 miles I put on the pedal drive today was nothing. No big deal at all, because you stay active in the gym during the off season. I gave my brain a rest of fishing in the off season, so I came out, you know, fresh, recharged, ready to hit it. You know, I might have not fished since the pro-am there in November, Chad, but I was ready to get after it. I was ready to get after it.
The old pro-am.
the pro-am. It was pretty good charity event down there that we didn't expect there was going to be. People spent more time practicing for that pro-am charity event than they do here for a 235 angler field for Bassmasters. So
Stay there all week.
Everybody's got their own championship. So stay active, stay mentally focused, and physically active, man. And it's that repetitive motion, that, you know, that routine that you get into, and it'll help you, you know, push through that early season grind out there on the water, because you don't want to mishap. I mean, it's nice, sunny. I got a burnt nose. My hands are burnt. I mean, it was 75 degrees here today, but I mean, the water temperature still, you know, in the upper 50s, low 60s. And if you go over, you know, you're talking about a combined temperature there that's less than 120. So it's not a good situation. So staying mentally sharp and physically in shape is crucial earlier in the year. And God forbid if you fall through where Michael's at.
14 inches of ice. I hope you ain't falling through.
I hope not, man.
You know, so 2 weeks ago, we had some 50-degree days up here. We had some rain. You know, on social media, I had a few people comment like, "Where is he taking these kids? Does he have a boat big enough?" And the rumor, you know, we had, you know, like you have in every sport, you know, you have some people that shouldn't go where they did. And we had 3 people on Lake Champlain who went out on vehicles and fell through the ice and did not live to tell the tale. Lake Champlain is about an hour and a half north from me, but they think Vermont is the same wherever. So I had clients calling me, parents of kids from the camp calling me like, "Hey, just heard about this." And I would have to go to the body of water, make a video for each of them with my bass board to show them the thickness of the ice. And I went to all those spots. You know, Chad, you asked a very poignant question. How do you find these fish for your clients? I go fish every day that I can. And during the ice season, it's very important because you have to measure the ice. So, you know, we had a lot of rumors going around. And on Saturday of last weekend, when those big fish were caught, nobody else was on a 700-acre frozen lake. Nobody. And I mean, yeah, guys, the ice is really not safe. Don't come out here right now. Just go south, go join the 230 people on, you know, in Alabama, and, you know, go to your kayaks, go for it. Just, you know, leave me and my fish alone. It's been a you know, kind of a sweet sorrow where the bait shops might not be able to stay open as long because not as many people are ice fishing. So, you know, now I have to go out and catch my own bait. So another skill is going to have to get learned.
So are you is the hustle, is that what's keeping you in shape to keep the grind going?
Oh man. It's so now that I have more guests coming out on the ice, I try to keep the limit at like 8 people. I have my ice shelter holds 9. So on a cold day, I can fit 9 comfortably for, as a warming hut, basically. So I bought more gear, right? Well, now I have to have 2 sleds to pull that gear. So that's gotten heavier. And it was fine when it was solid ice, but now we have this fresh snow that's fallen. So of the 10,000 to 15,000 steps that my phone tracks every day, I mean, that's a sled pull. This is people at CrossFit, myself included 10 years ago, used to pay $400 a month to pull weights across, a parking lot. And that's what I'm doing every single day. And I cannot wait to pedal the NAR as soon as, the fishing is on for the spring, because I feel I'm going to be pedaling faster.
Right.
My iPhone December, 2 weeks after ice season started, sends me a message. Hey, we've noticed you've been more active for the first time in 3 months than you have been. It's like, keep it up. And it's just, you judgmental piece of technology crap. Just leave me alone. I'm getting back into running shape on the ice. And you're wearing spikes on your shoes, but it is a core workout because you're trying not to lose your footing at the same time as you're running to these flags, catching fish.
And, I mean, you get shorts and a pair of tennis shoes on. You're going to think you're an Olympian.
So there are people that are running around the lake in their shorts, making you feel like a slob while you're out there with your big float pants and things like that. But as Jason said, one of the things that I have to start doing now is getting the wrists ready to hold that rod, pitching that 1/2 ounce jig head, constantly, and that constant retrieve. I remember a trip I took last year. This guy and I were on our 3rd hour, and we had a pretty good day. And I said, hey, we've got another hour. Where do you want to go the other side of the lake? We could fish right here. He's like, well, let's pedal somewhere because my hands need a break. And this guy, he was in shape. He worked out, and I never heard that from a guest before. So it's a thing. And I got some weights under my desk. I'm going to start doing kind of my wrist rolls and things like that. And all of that jazz. And making sure that I switch between my bait caster and my spinning reel. And then I got into fly fishing for pike last year. So that was interesting. This shoulder right here, definitely, hadn't done much until that. So the first week of that's going to be fun this year too.
So talking about the mental side, we've got 3 different genres here. Really, I do a lot of content creation. Michael, you're a fishing guide, and Jason, you're down there chasing the tournament dream. What do you guys do to stay mentally on this thing? Because, Jason, you're looking to cash a check. Your focus is getting those bites, getting those 5 good bites to make sure that you're in the top certain percent so you can cash a check for the tournament. Michael, you've got clients that have come out, they've paid. What goes through your mind, when you're out there and some time has passed and maybe you've not seen the fish for a minute, they've moved or whatever. How do you stay focused and compete with that mentally, as far as keeping your clients on fish?
So I will make fun of myself at one point during a trip. Where somebody might ask me, how did you become a fishing guide? Or, how did you end up from New Orleans to a ski instructor to, the wine industry to what you're doing now? And I tell them what someone asked me a couple of years ago, one of my wife's classmates, while she was getting her MBA, how do you know what to say to these people when you take them fishing? And I looked at him and I said, I say about 60 to 70 different things about what's going to work. And then when they catch a fish, after I say that 1 or 2, second thing, that's the one they remember. They're like, oh my God, it's exactly what you said. Like, yes, that's exactly what I said. That's the 59th thing that I said. It's keeping positivity. It's kind of making fun of yourself a little bit about that. One of the things that I would implore other guides not to do is talk about how big a fish they caught there one time that their client's not catching there right now. This is why they call it fishing, not fish catching.
Right.
It's more of asking them questions about their life. What do you do if it's a couple? Where did y'all meet? And there's always a funny story in there. So you keep it lighthearted. And the great thing about kayak fishing is you're not just casting a rod on a boat all day. You are constantly having to instruct them on their paddle stroke or the ruddering and the pedal. And, maybe they're going to stop and stand and cast. And so there's something else to coach them on, where they're listening to you coach them on a certain skill or a technique, and then a fish will bite after you coach them on something new that they change in what they're doing, and then they see the value in the experience.
Right. That's cool.
I have had trips on those days where there are no fish, and luckily there's one or two. And they're always within the first 5 minutes. So there's 5 minutes of glory, and then there's 3 hours and 47 minutes of having to put up with me and my jokes, and no more fish.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a good dad joke, man. Dad jokes. Hey, if anybody can tell a good dad joke, it's Jason Cassetty. Let me tell you.
Let's see if Jason knows this one. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
You guys heard it right here.
There you go.
Talk. Jackson Kayak Dock Talk. Visit us at jacksonkayak.com. We've got more dad jokes.
Yes. And
so
there
Jason,
goes our viewership. Yeah.
There goes the viewership. So Jason, what do you do? How does your mental focus preparation go down when you're looking at these events? I mean, you've got X amount of days of practice. You've got getting a camper there, getting it set up. You got the dogs, you got the wife, you've got work, you've got all these things revolving around the tournament, not to keep bringing it up while you're trying to focus on the tournament. But how do you get yourself geared in and keep that positiveness going?
Well, the biggest thing for me, and I was talking with a buddy of mine, Chipper Monovich. He's actually camping right down the way here. Is your home life. And my home life travels with me everywhere I go, and she is by far my biggest fan. So that is a huge, gigantic roadblock that I don't have to deal with, that a lot of people do. They have to deal with their wife or girlfriend or significant other, like, what are they doing? Am I doing everything I can to take care of them? Am I providing as a man? Am I doing, and I can check that box right off. I don't have to worry about that because she's got my back, and she pushes me to do more. And I'm blessed in a work situation to where, like, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I can go through a lot of emails from about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That's usually a downtime in the bite window. And it's a good reset for me. Like today, the fishing was tough. It was bluebird skies, post front. We had like really windy, rough conditions yesterday, and the fish were chewing. Today, not so much. And a couple hours in, I went through my emails, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need to sell some beer here, and here. Hooked up with this distributor here, and 45 minutes of emails going back and forth. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh yeah, hell, this is beautiful. I'm in Gunnersville, Alabama. It's 75 degrees, and I get a fish, and all is well. So if you can get yourself sometimes out of the fishing because it's getting really bad, that can be a good thing. Don't always think you got to grind, focus, fishing. Sometimes you need to take Paul Abdul 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and get back into,
We are
something
all
else,
people.
and then look at the fishing, and things will come that way. So having a work life, fishing, and then of course a home balance makes a huge difference. The dogs are they're in their portable fence right now behind me. Yep, don't hear them. They're chilling. They're good. We got the camper here, no problem. I pulled it. Nicole pulled the boats. She pulled the big rig and the bite FDs down here, and on the new Tennessee trailer, it worked out great. It was a little nervous for me sitting there following her, but she was awesome. She did a really good job through the mountains and everything, and
She's
we,
going to
we
be
got.
well seasoned by the time the year's over.
Oh, she's gonna be killing it. We're gonna work on backing it up, but before too long, I think she'll be. I'll be ready to be in the seat. I'll be in my comfort seat, going down the ramp, and she's just gonna, I'm gonna be doing one of these numbers and be like, "All right, you're good," and she's gonna take off. I'm just gonna be in the boat, and we're already gone. You know what I mean? That would be. We'll see if
We
that can
tried that
happen.
once. We've tried that once. It didn't work out so well, but we have tried it. Me and Mr. Grubbs.
So I wanted a quick story on distracting yourself from that bite.
Oh, absolutely.
This past weekend, I had a couple in the morning. It was -4 degrees at 6 a.m. and I was hoping it was going to be above zero by the time they got on the ice. And we had a couple flags, a couple fish, and then we had a big lull. And it's like 11:30, and every trip, if I feel like it's a cool couple or somebody that I always carry a victory beer on me, from a local brew, either New Hampshire or Vermont, and I'll say, guys, it's Saturday, it's 11:30. I brought a couple beers for you guys for a victory beer if you want to open one, but we got to open them at the same time. And sometimes when you open a beer, that's when the flags go up. And I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. So I was like, all right, you guys, you got to open at the same time. It's got to hiss at the same time. It's got to crack at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that. And I swear to God, we should have been filming this. As soon as they did it, flag in the distance went up. And we darted to it, and that was the biggest fish of the day.
Awesome.
You can't write stuff like that, but it's just this weird stuff. People, they'll say, "Stop looking at the flags, stop talking about fish." Or, what do you do for a living? It's just like get on another topic.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about the fish, and then you might remember something that somebody said last time. Pick a different color lure. Or just cast over the shoulder when it's not working over there just once. And that's when you get your good bite.
Now, talking to people and everything, that brings up community, which is a big part of fishing, kayak fishing, and what we all do. Jason, for you, you're down at the campgrounds right now. How much of that being immersed in the community and the campgrounds, how much does that mean to you? What do you take from it? As far as getting to know these folks from other brands, other walks of life.
Yeah, well, to me, it's everything. We talk about that camaraderie aspect a lot in the kayak fishing industry, and it's not cliche. You know what I mean? It's a real thing. And when people get out, get offline and disconnect for a little bit and just kind of hang out and get to know each other, man, it is a really cool thing. It's hanging out, having fun, having a few drinks, cooking dinner for each other, learning about each individual, outside of Tourney X. Everybody knows, oh, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. But when you break them down and get to know them, there's a lot of awesome people out there that share, similar likes, obviously, with, fishing. And it's a wonderful community that it's I don't think people get out there and do it enough. And with USA Bass, and that's one of the things that we really want to get into, is having that camaraderie, having the meetup afterwards, to where everybody can hang out, rub elbows with each other, maybe talk a little smack, but meet each other and hang out in a community format and build that camaraderie that it's everything. I mean, we've never been so disconnected as a community, at least in our country. If you look at us, everybody's connected on social media, but we're not really that close. And the kayak community is a really good way to get close. And, the closer we can get and bond and help each other out, get to know each other, the better this thing's going to get. And I don't want to get political, but I mean, that's going to, the better our world's going to get. This is not a It's America speech, but if we could all, if we could just get together and we're built to be social people. I mean, that's how God made us. God made us to be social people. And the further isolated we are, the worse we're going to be off, man. So get in a kayak, get in a campground, freaking hang out, have some beers, go to Black Dog Brewing Company, stick them in your Orion cooler.
Now, Michael, you get to hear some amazing stories, I'm sure, out there doing what you're doing. How much, obviously you're taking them fishing, they catch fish, they have a good time, but as the guide, not only you get something else out of it, the camaraderie that they bring to you. I'm sure you've heard some amazing stories. How much does that mean to you? As far as getting that connection as a guide?
Meet some great people. The world just gets smaller and smaller. People will find me. I'm getting calls for summer fishing right now, and the messages on Instagram are, "Hey, I just got a house on the river. I want to learn how to fish. What's your schedule like?" And so I make that phone call, and I say, "I know the river. Which dock is yours? Which house is yours? Is it, which is that your gazebo?" "Yes, it's that one." I said, "Oh, I met your daughter last year. She lives in New York. She works in fashion." "Yeah." And it's like, that's a good memory. And I said, "Yeah, you've got great fish under that dock." And you more about the fish under their dock than than the house they just bought. The camaraderie aspect and the people that fishing brings together was evident a couple of weeks ago, where I had an off day, got to fish on one of the river setbacks on the Connecticut River on the New Hampshire side. And there's a good fishing buddy of mine who is a fourth-year resident, anesthesia resident at the hospital out here, and one of the best fly fishermen I've ever met. He still hasn't taken me fly fishing with him, but from what I can tell, he's one of the best fly fishermen I've ever met. Great ice fisherman as well. He's out there. He's about to go on call in like 4 or 5 hours. And then another friend of mine who was in marketing for a big waste management company, not the mob. That's not slang for the mob. And now started his own property management service company where he does a lot of commercial snow plowing, has a lot of trucks that, basically are working overtime right now. We just had him over tonight for dinner, came to do our driveway while he was on the street. And I said, "Come up, we're making fajitas." Anyway, we're all out on the ice together. It's a Tuesday, and he brings a cigar, and I've got my beer ready for lunchtime or a good fish. And a guy comes walking down to the ice with a camera strapped to his chest. And he's been with the local newspaper for 18 years, starts taking pictures of us. And our picture ends up in the paper. It's like, and he credits everybody, like Mike and Nate and Mark all hanging out on day off, fishing. And it was just a Tuesday. But here are these three people from different walks of life that are on the ice at the same time, who are all working at some point that day. I'm the only one with the day off, and I'm still out ice fishing. And without fishing, we would have nothing else in common. And that's just one of the things I love about this entire community.
Yeah, it bridges gaps. For sure.
And it does. And actually, real quick on that community piece, let's see, I'm an IU guy. I don't know if you can see that there, but go Hoosiers. But
I see
I
what
got
you did there.
some Kyle Burns, Jeff Malott, Cody Milton. There's a basketball game, I guess, tonight. Tennessee versus Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Who'd you have? Did you take Did you just take a Kentucky hat off and put on a Tennessee hat? I think that was really wrong.
Rust?
That's Canute, Kentucky. That's Canute, Kentucky. It's black. Canute, Kentucky is. Hey, if you're south of the Ohio River and you need a kayak, Canute, Kentucky can hook you up.
Can't believe you
they're
took a Kentucky
near
hat
that terrible
off.
town of Lexington, Frankfurt. Wherever that Blue
Frankfurt.
Devil. Who is that? What? I don't even know. Kentucky sucks basketball. I ain't a Kentucky fan.
Oh my gosh! You just took a Kentucky hat off and put a Tennessee hat on. You're living in danger zone, my friend.
You go to Kentucky
they may not
to
let
buy
you back across the river. You may have to drive around Kentucky.
Jason, I have a theory on Kentucky.
Oh.
So it was Thursday of Final Four. Sorry, Thursday of March Madness. First Thursday of all the games. This was in 2018. It was 2018, and I had to. My wife and my daughter and I, we all had to drive. We were living in Carmel, Indiana at the time. We had to drive down to Tennessee for work, and we stopped at a sports bar Thursday at 2 p.m. And, all those first rounds of games were on, not a seat in the house on a Thursday. It was like nobody in Kentucky worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like whenever I watched Final Four, we're living in San Diego, we all had to watch it from our computers or secretly on our phones. We could not go out to a sports bar on Thursday at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. But yeah, I'm with you. There's some good basketball, but I don't understand what people do on Thursday afternoon in Kentucky.
We and Jason just not too long ago in January came back from a boat show down in Kentucky, Louisville. To tell you a little bit what it is truly like, the show is packed all day long. I mean, it is nonstop. I broke away for a brief moment, grabbed Jason and I both a bottle of water because our voices are about gone. I mean, we're just one person right after another. The Kentucky game comes on 30 minutes to an hour before that Kentucky game comes on. You just see the crowd just start. And by the time that game starts, that boat show that has been packed all day long for a week is a ghost town. There is nobody. You pull out the lawn chairs, you sit down, and anybody that's got a phone that's working a booth is pretty much watching the ball game. Anybody that's left in the building is coming by and asking what the score is. I mean,
if you don't watch Kentucky basketball, you were drinking Black Dog beer in the booth.
At the booth, yeah.
It got really like they are serious about their basketball in Kentucky. I mean, for as bad as Kentucky sucks, you would think they wouldn't care that much, but hey,
it becomes a ghost town.
I mean, I love the passion they've got for the game. It is really cool, and I love getting back to talking smack and bridging gaps. I'm going to go break bread with these guys here after a bit and cheer on Tennessee, just because I like to have a little rub there, So I hope Arkansas Razorbacks get their tail kicked by some volunteers tonight and. Go Big Orange.
So, talking about camaraderie, we've got the USA Bassin thing coming up this year, Jason. You've been on here a couple times, talked about that. You're heading that up. I know you're going to be traveling, fishing some tournaments, some bigger tournaments this year. But the real question is Nicole going to step out from behind the shadows this season and come down and tackle her first tournament in the USA Bassin Series?
Damn.
Are you going to be her cheerleader?
Oh, hell yeah.
For an event.
She caught her PB last year on West Boggs. We stopped there just traveling through the country, and we needed a place to stay for a week. before we went to the next tournament, and we were in Lagodi, Indiana, which is a beautiful part of Indiana. It's got an awesome little lake, and she caught her PB down there, and I think she could sweet talk them. You know what I mean? I think she can catch them.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna throw this out there right here on Dock Talk. I'm gonna grant her a free entry to the USA Bassin Division on Lake Monroe to come fish it, compete. And you cannot compete. You have to be her cheerleader for the day. That's
fine. Can I? Yeah, I can do that. Let's do it.
Okay.
I think she might surprise some people. You know, you throw
she
a mojo.
Might surprise some. I think it's time for her to jump in this. She's gonna be there. She's gonna follow you around all the time. She might as well go fishing.
Absolutely.
So I think
pick a day where she can get.
Wait. She's not following him. I thought he was tailing her truck. Let's get this straight.
I think it goes both ways.
Hey, I mean, you know, we've got a couple graphs, and if I happen to be, you know, live scoping around, and you know,
cheerleader.
You know, but with pom poms, you know, be like, hey, pom pom, cast here, pom pom, cast it. But yeah, no, I would love to see Nicole get out there and put a whooping on some of those folks over at the USA Bassin Lake Monroe Division, aka the Dead Sea. You know,
yeah.
And but tell me this, Chad, what if Nicole signs up for her first derb on Lake Monroe, which if you cut your teeth in Indiana bass fishing, if you win on Lake Monroe, I mean, that's the barrier. You have to win at Lake Monroe.
Probably quit.
Right? It's like a hole in one in golf, or an ace in disc golf, or a 300 game your first time out bowling. I mean,
because once she gets that money in her hand, she ain't quitting. She's coming right back.
Yeah. I might have to start working, man. I don't know.
My wife outfishes me whenever we take a charter in Florida. I'll catch one fish, and then she will just nail them all afternoon. And so she's former Army. And I asked her when we first started dating, like right after we got married, when can we go to a shooting range? You know, I would love to, go, fire some weapons that you have experience with that I probably never would have held before. And she said very calmly and collected, I don't want to make you look bad. And I believe her. It's not a challenge. I believe her. So, it's fishing's my thing. She'll come out on the kayaks, and out on our boat, but she lets me fish. I don't think she actually doesn't like to fish. I just think that she knows that she's going to be better at it because of her patience level.
Yeah. They do have more patience than us. That's for sure. I'm learning patience through fishing, and it's difficult. My wife is a reader. She comes out, she reads, but that gets her out on the water with me. She'll find a spot, she'll power pole down, and she likes the power pole just so she can lock in and start reading. Hey,
get into a book. Yeah.
Get into a book, enjoy the air.
Nicole's a shooter. She as well. She likes to pull the strings on a bow, and I think maybe we can, if she's allowed to bow fish, the competition ain't got a chance, man.
We could.
Oh, she just walked in. She just walked around the corner. She said, "I want to learn how to shoot a bow."
There you go.
Forget fishing. She just heard that, Jason.
No,
now, as long as she can put her hand over the through and through on the fish on that bass. I mean, you never know. She shot it from a bow, so we can make that happen.
I mean, I can hook you up with some quality Asian carp if you want to go that route. Believe me.
If it has anything to do with that death trap of a boat ramp on the White River in Bedford, I'm out.
If Nicole enters at Monroe, we were all fishing for second place. That's from the comments. Mr. Chip, thank you for that. I'm
Yeah,
coming
she,
out of retirement. I mean, nobody's worried.
No. If Nicole's in the Derby,
I've been
man, you
retired
might
too
as well
long.
just Venmo me at Jason Cassetty Fishing, and we'll take care of it. You won't even have to get your kayak wet.
There you go. So what else? What else you guys got going on the rest of the year here as things get underway? I know, Jason, you're at the event, and Michael, you're getting ready for start switching gears into the boats kayak side for the season. What else do you guys got going on this summer? Any big plans?
Yeah, I've gotten hooked up with the number one retailer for Jackson kayaks in the Northeast, which is Outdoor New England. And we had a call today with one of the resorts on the lake that I do all my ice fishing, that I do most of my kayak trips. And we're going to set 2 demo boats, 2 Jackson kayaks as demos on their lake at their hotel for the whole summer. And we're going to do some big demo days. And, there's no retailer that I'm aware of as big as Outdoor New England in the state of Vermont. And this lake, like I said, is 700 acres. You can pedal or paddle a kayak on there in a matter of an hour or less, all the way across and back. And there's, I don't work for them, but I mean, basically, if somebody takes a trip with me and says, "Where do I get one of these kayaks?" I send them to Marty or Joe at Outdoor New England. And this is going to be kind of the year for this, where I'm hoping to get some people not just learning how to fish, but learning how to get in these kayaks and love them to where they want their own. Mm-hmm. It might not be a great business model for me, but it gets more people into this sport. And that is why we're here. That's why we're part of the Jackson Kayak Fishing Team. That's why we're part of Orion. If nobody's buying the product, then what are we doing in the end? Mm-hmm. But really excited to work with these guys. Got to do a trade show in Marlborough, Mass, at the fly fishing show with them to represent Jackson Kayaks, which was really cool. And got my first paycheck. I don't know if you call it a check from Jackson, but I got to get a check from Jackson for my miles and my day at the show, which was really cool. And I just want to do more of those.
Now, what about you, Jason? What else you got coming up besides the
well,
obvious?
I mean, we're fishing. I'm fishing the Bassmaster Series this year, and going to 12 different states to follow the USA Bassin Trail, which kicks off, I believe, this upcoming weekend in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good segue. The Rocky Top Division, I think it's Lake Cherokee, kicks off this weekend. So go to USA Bassin on the Facebooks, USA Bassin Jackson Kayak Trail. Check it out. Free membership this year. 250 points qualifies you for about a $12,500 first place prize package at the championship. And so we're going to be busy doing that. Working on the social media side of that, making sure these anglers get the recognition that they deserve. Through Jackson, Orion, USA Bassin, my personal social medias, anything we can do to highlight these anglers and build that community. Hopefully, get some youth involved. I love what Mike you're doing up there with the youth, getting kids out on the ice. That's incredible. If I had someone like that to show me ice that way at that age, I'd probably actually appreciate it. Right now, the only thing ice is good for is Tito's and Mio. You know what I mean?
It was actually so great that I've decided to do. So we have spring break coming up in April, and I'm going to do the same thing. Not 8 kids in kayaks, but 2 to 3 kids, and I'll have 4 kayaks by then. But going to do the same thing, a camp that's going to kind of lower the cost per kid, get them out on a Jackson kayak and getting fishing in some of these ponds. And our pre-spawn up here is April.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I would love to get back up to Winnipesaukee in the month of end of April, 1st of May. I don't know if you're allowed to target smallmouth up there that time of year, but
You can't keep them. There's I'm pretty sure. Geez, I have my New Hampshire guide license exam on Monday, and I should know this. I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks in June. You can't harvest them, but you can target, you can
them.
catch. Yep, but you cannot keep them.
Okay, so Nicole and I will try to get up there, and we will help you introduce some kids to the wonderful sport of bass fishing, and then we will selfishly partake in the unbelievableness that is Lake Winnipesaukee. I've got about 300 areas marked on my fish finder that if we would have been there a week prior, 2 weeks prior, when we were up there for the Hobie event last year, it just would have been stupid. I mean, absolutely stupid. So yeah.
So I have to tell you guys, by the time I got my Orion cooler, it was pretty cold outside. I didn't get to use it as a cooler. But there have been some days on the ice where my normal minnow bucket, at 8 degrees and 4 degrees, that water doesn't last very long. It turns to ice, and the minnows don't do well in slush. So I went ahead and got myself a floating aerator, and I took my Orion 25 quart cooler, and I put all my minnows in there and pulled them around on my sled, and they stayed nice and happy. And I was trying to figure out a way to make an aerator go into this cooler to make this work, and then found the floating aerator. But it's my rod holder, it's my cup holder, or my beer holder, and now it's my minnow bucket, and it's incredible. And happy minnows equal happy fish that you get to catch under the ice, and I've really enjoyed having it, and can't wait to have it on the back of my NAR this year.
Very cool.
Absolutely, yeah. You can, hey, and no, I mean, no pun intended, but having the gear track on the side of this thing, it's an absolute game changer. I hate to say that, but you can just use it for so much, whether you're just wanting it for a cup holder, a rod holder. I love seeing your posts on the ice. That thing with those small ice rods is perfect. I mean, it was like Orion made the cooler for ice fishing. And I sell beer when I'm not fishing. I'm selling beer, and you talk about keeping your minnows from turning into icicles. Beer's the same way. Everybody loves an ice cold beer, so when I go to sample the liquid, they want it nice and cold. Well, in Indiana, when it's 10 degrees outside, if you have beer in a cooler, hey, if you got an Igloo or one of those other subpar, Sasquatch looking coolers, you might have a ice block of a beer, but in an Orion, you still got a 33-degree ice cold freaking beer. And I think Zach did a little piece on it with his when he goes hunting.
Mm-hmm.
They put their game in those coolers to keep it from getting frozen solid in that super cold weather. So yeah, it's not this a cooler. It's a cooler meat locker. I mean, a cooler warmer thing. I don't know. These things are amazing. You got to get one.
Well, I have to bring those double IPAs with me out on the ice, because regardless if they're in the cooler or not, I mean, they need to be 8%, or else they're turning into slush.
Yep.
That's what they have to do.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We talked a little bit about fitness a while ago. Just so you guys know, we have a partner that we can actually help you out on. ClitchFitness.com. We've got a promo code for anybody that wants something to take with them on the road. Keep that fitness level up. HUNTLEET10. HUNTEL or ETE10. HUNTLEET10. 10, like athlete, but it's Hunt Elite 10. So check them out. Clinch Fitness, super good people, nice product, lots of options. Yeah. So there's that.
And we like options. And we were talking earlier about the NAR and just Jackson's in general. You know, the sport of kayak fishing is blowing up so much. And a lot of people love one thing, like another thing, whatever. But that flex drive, that new flex drive, that Mark IV that they got out, you don't have to go spend $4,000 on a brand new kayak.
Mm-mm.
You know, you can spend like $1,400 and get you a freaking repower that thing. I mean, you ever have one of a Gambler bass boat or a Shadow bass boat? Those things are like rockets on steroids. If you've got a Jackson FD boat that you like, repower that thing. Stick you that new drive on there. I've got a couple that we're gonna put on the bite and the big rig, and it, judging from what a friend told me that may be right there, it really makes a difference on that bite. So I'm really looking forward to
a massive amount of difference.
Jason, you have the Mark IV on the big rig?
Not yet. We're gonna order it when we get back.
All right, because I want to know how that Mark IV does in the big rig.
There's no questioning it.
I'm super pumped about it. And that, going back to the physically fit thing, if you're going at it, you know, I've beat some other boats. I beat Outbacks. I beat, you know, the 12s and 14s. I've beat an R on Lake Winnipesaukee. I won't say anybody's name, but they know who they are, and they got beat in a 3/4 of a mile sprint. And I beat them by a good 300, 400, 500 feet. I don't know. I beat them by a lot. And I know when that new Mark IV gets put on that big rig, I'll probably be throwing up a wake. You know what I mean? So,
well, you got to be able to keep that. You got to be able to keep that wind. You know,
what's that?
You got to be able to keep your wind when you take off quick like that.
You do, and I mean, you get that burn in your legs, and
you're
everything.
Not that animal that goes and jogs like a mile before they takes off running, are you?
No.
Okay. Don't be one of those people.
I'm not that guy. But I do enjoy. We were talking motors versus non-motors over at Chickamauga with a local angler, and I really enjoy that 6 o'clock, 6:30, whatever time it is, that adrenaline rush you get from pedaling or paddling, but for me it's pedaling. There's nothing else like it, you know, because if I don't have that, by the time I get to my first spot, I'm going to be like, oh, you know, if I had you know, Jeff Little makes a phenomenal motor, you know, the Torpedo, it'll get you there in no time flat. But I'm going to be so amped up and ready to freaking go. I'm going to be casting 100 miles an hour, you know, fishing like Mark Grubbs on crack. And it's just not going to work out for me. But having that ability to get that, you know, inertia, power, you know, get that.
Well, let you settle into your day.
It does. It helps me get those nerves spent out. Like I'm cranking it, and that's all I care about. And by the time you get there, you're like, and you're ready to go. But if I just motored there, I'd be like, I can't wait. You know, I'd be a hot mess. So
that's a good analogy.
Oh hell yeah! I'm human power all the way until I'm a couple years older and I can't, and then we'll see what happens. So if you're watching,
that's why the biathlon is an event. You know, you're cross country skiing with a rifle in your back, shooting targets. You know, it's not that much different. It might look like a Norwegian drive-by, but you know, it's a serious thing.
Did you just say a Norwegian drive-by?
He did.
I totally ripped that off from Robin Williams live on Broadway. That's when it's the punchline of his skit. It's just there's a whole cross country lifestyle up here in New England. Where there's people who only cross country ski. I have a perfectly good chairlift. I don't understand it, but they do. But yeah, the biathlon has always been a very interesting Olympic event. But it's exactly what you're saying. It's breathing control while you're shooting, and you have to, skate there on skis. Same thing in the kayak. You're pedaling. You're going to chill out right before you start casting, and you're not jittery. By the time you get there, you're calm, collected. You're ready to fish.
Yep.
All right. So I challenge Jason and Nicole. I've got your challenge, Mike. Next year, ramping up for ice season. You need to start doing these cold water submerges. Whew. Notice I didn't challenge myself. I don't think I can do it. But anyway, if you're game, it seems like a legit way to get ready for ice season.
Well, I don't want to practice falling through the ice.
No, you just get like a cattle trough and you fill it up with water, and then you just go sit in it and put it on Instagram.
Hey, Gerald Swindle does that after every day of fishing, bud. Come on.
I probably need to. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Anybody out there?
Sounds like a terrible idea. Have you ever submerged yourself in ice water?
Have you ever put yourself in the Cumberland River? Just your feet. It's cold. I don't know.
It's why nobody play boats in the Nantahala River anymore.
Yeah. So, is there anybody at the campgrounds tonight set up, Jason, that's got the old ice bath going?
No. There's a lot of coolers.
It ain't
a lot of
kayak fishing that day.
It's a lot of coolers.
A lot of no-eyed fish going on around here. I heard about 6 no-eyed fish. Psh, psh, psh.
I'm fishing.
There's a lot of going on around here, but no ice bass.
No ice bass. All right, fellas. Well, we've made it past the hour, so I'm going to let you guys go. To all you folks out there for watching, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Check us out. Check out all the great products at JacksonKayak.com. Pick yourself up an Orion cooler, a Mark IV Flex Drive, or a brand new Jackson Kayak at one of our esteemed Jackson Kayak dealers. Shout out Canoe, Kentucky, my boys. Also, thanks to Z-Pro powering us this year. Powering the Dock Talk Jackson Kayak NAR FD boat this year, and my camera guys, Zach and Nick, taking care of us this year in our Jacksons. So thanks to Z-Pro. Check them out, zprolithium.com. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. We need some outro music. Why haven't we got outro music, guys?